Hello, this is Mr. Gretzky 9966. Just wanted to show off this Batman 174 Silver Age 12 center. A nice cover, love the cover and everything. It's Batman in a plastic bag. It's where he's the human punching bag. Funny covers, you know. I mean, probably around that time frame of the TV show, campy Batman, if you know what I mean. Probably one of the few Silver Age Batmans I got. I'd like to get... One of the goals I'd like to do is try to get some more of like the Silver Age, Bronze Age stuff for a lot of the books, if I can. So I don't have to like end up buying a lot of modern stuff. I like to try to get a lot of those modern age runs done so then I could focus more on the end of the Silver Age stuff. Mainly with Detective, Superman, Batman, Detective, Action Comics, Spider-Man, Fantastic Four, Hulk, to an extent. It was mostly, by the time the Hulk, I think, came around again, getting its own book, I think, was more or less towards the Bronze Age of it. It was towards the end of the Silver Age, start of the Bronze Age, when the Incredible Hulk book started back up again, getting his solo title at issue 102. So that's what I like to try to do. More of that kind of stuff. Try to get the earlier stuff. Not as early, like a lot of people want to try to get the Silver Age and then all the reprints of the Uncanny X-Men. I just want to try to get from a certain issue number in the 90s, like the late 90 whatever, I forget what issue it is, all the way through to the end, pretty much, of that, but that'll just be one of the things I'll take care of. So, that's about it and everything with that, and then, got some other goals to try to finish some stuff, some Archie stuff I want to try to finish up next year, but I'll talk more about that later in the year when that gets closer and closer to setting goals. I've already set goals, but there's some books that if I can find them now, grab them now, get it taken care of, and get the books done so I don't have to waste time trying to find the books that I really want and everything. Like if I can get most of my runs done that are small runs done at the same time, then I won't have to, then when I get around to needing the bigger books, the big boy, what everybody calls, Reaper Tate and the great legend called Big Boy books, and that trying to get those more pricier books on the scale of what I need, you know, because you really think about it. I mean, like these Batman books, you know, guys selling them for, you can find them on eBay, but a lot of people, you know, don't like the eBay. They like to go out in the wild and find the books. Me, I like to find them in the wild, but a lot of times around here, they're more or less on the top of the pace, they're on the top of the scale for that book. They're either higher than like this book here, which is probably like a very, very good. It might be a VG plus there, to a high-end VG plus that they'll say, oh, it's a VG plus, but we'll make it a fine. We'll just jump it up instead of a fine minus. We'll jump it up to a fine, or even leave it at a fine minus instead of it being like a VG plus. They'll go to that fine minus and add that extra few dollars to it, you know, instead of you getting this book at whatever I paid for it, say, because a lot of these books went for like in the 20s and $30 range. You know, you couldn't get them for, you get some for less, but it was mostly 20. I would say most of the books went between $20 and $40, depending on the grade of the book. The higher the grade, closer to 40 they got. The lower the grade, closer to 20, they got a little over 20. So it was between 20 and 30, and 30 and 40 for the higher grade. So So most of these books weren't near mint. They were mostly very fine. VG, they were like VG to very fine books. So the VG books, you got them closer to 20. You got them in the $20 range. The fines, you went more in the 30s, and a little bit higher. The book went for a little bit higher, went in the $40 range for the VG Plus books, for the VF books, the very fine books. But that's my goal, is to do a lot of that kind of stuff, finding this stuff. You know, you find this stuff every day and you think, oh, wow, I could get that. But then, you know, one book here, one book there, a book there, you know. Most of the time you find the book in a decent grade, you think, wow, that's a 3.0, and they want like 6.0 money for a 3.0. You know, and you're like, dude, that's a very good book, but you want fine money. You know, you want for a $20 book, for a book that's worth 20, you want 40 for a $20 book. You know, that's what this area is. This area is a little high for certain, like Silver Age, Bronze Age. They know people are looking for that kind of stuff, key issues, and they jack the price up in this area at the shops. And then they wonder why they don't sell. You know, they're at the top of the retail scale for the book because they're paying almost nothing to get the books. They're paying, you know, 15. You know, they're paying a guy $5 for a book that they're going to go and charge $25 for. And they're giving you $5 for the book. And it's a $25, it's a $50 book, but they're going to go and say, oh, it's $25. It's a $25 book. They're not going to tell you that. They're going to look at the book and they're going to tell you if you haven't done your research. What I always tell people, do your research before you buy the book. Know what you want to pay for the book, what you're going to pay. eBay, same difference. Figure out what you're going to pay for the book. Don't go and spend $1,000 on a book if you know that book in 2 or 3 years is going to be dropping dramatically because either it was speculated, a movie or something, and then the movie gets scrapped. You know, don't get caught up in that. Don't get caught up in paying a ton of money for something and say, ooh, I need this first appearance of Harley Quinn, Batman Adventures number 12, and I'm going to pay, and I see one for $300, one for $300, and there's one for $600, and the $600 one is going in like 9.0 condition. The $300 one is like a 7.5 or whatever. And you're like, ooh, 9.5, 9.0 at $600. I got to jump on that. And you jump on that. That book is probably going to rise, but it's not going to probably rise anymore. If it's graded, it's going to rise. If it's raw, it's going to be, if you see a raw copy at 7.5 at 300 and a CGC 9.0 going for 6 to 8, anywhere between 6 and 800 of that book, you might say, do I want the CGC copy? Yeah, because it's going to be worth that in the long run. I pay $600 for the book. I sell it in 2 years, 3 years for $800. I've made at least $200 profit. But it's like these books where you buy something, there's a hype for it, and then you buy like Doomsday, and then all of a sudden you're buying that book at $100. And a couple years ago when they announced it in the movie, oh, it's going to be in the movie. It's going to be in the movie, Batman vs. Superman movie. And the hype is up there for Doomsday. And all of a sudden, movie comes out. People are disappointed. The speculation price starts to go down because now everybody's starting to slab these things. And you start seeing it flooding the market. And when they flood the market value of the book is going to go down. And the market value for the book is probably $25, $30. It's not even worth it to CGC the book. If the market value is for a graded book is going to be $30, it's going to top out at 30. A high grade 9.8 is going to get you $30, and it costs you $50 to grade it, to buy it and grade it. and ship it there and back, and it costs you $50, you're not going to get that $50 price tag. You're not going to get that $50. You're not going to get that $100. You're not going to double your money. You know, you saw it at $150 a couple years ago. Now it's down. Now it's down to $25. Now it's lost $125, and you're wondering why is that? But that's just a ramble I have. But don't waste your money. That's what I've realized over the years. Finish runs that you have. Stick to your guns. Stick to stuff that you want to collect, you want to get done, because that's just the way to do it. I look at it the same way everybody else does. That's the way to do it. The way to make your books and your money stretch is get the books you want. Don't go and buy all the cool new variants that come out and then in 6 months say, why did I overpay for that? Why did I pay for a $10 variant that came out? Like Marvel. Marvel's betting on you to buy event books. They're betting on you to buy store. Problem is, retail incentive covers. That is what they got. They got the retail incentive covers where they talk retailers into buying so many books, and they'll give you so many. If you buy 100 books, we'll give you 10 retail exclusive covers, or we'll give you so many retail exclusive covers that they get, that they call retail exclusively to retailers when they buy a certain amount of books. So if you buy 10 books or you buy 10 copies, you get so many of these retail exclusives or whatever. They buy into these things. They have the double copies. What the people don't want, they don't want the regular copies. So what they do is they have to buy them to get these variants. A small-time shop like my bookstore can't afford to do that when they're only buying the book if you get it on subscription through them, or you go to Popper's Books in Clayton, North Carolina. They only do two things that Popper's does that they would do. They do subscription service and what they think they can sell. So most of the time they have these particular variants that come out. They only buy 5 of them. So like if DC does a variant does the DC variant month for Warner Brothers, when they did the Warner Brother crossover covers, the Looney Tune character covers from Warner Brothers with the other stuff. They only bought 5 of each copy. Plus, unless you ordered a copy, they only ordered 5 of each one, if they could. And then whatever Diamond would ship them, that's how many they got. So if they ordered 5 and Diamond only shipped 3, that's all they got. But if you got for subscription, you got the cover. So if you were one of the few subscriber people getting a pull list through them, or any shop really in general, if you get the pull list and your shop only is going to have so many covers of that, they're not going to go out and buy 100 of them, and they've only got 50 people that come in and buy comics. They're not going to go buy new books for those people. You see, that's the problem. If they get, and a lot of people have certain books they buy, and that's all they buy. And then you got these guys who only want certain things because it's a tie-in to the story. And they only want that book because of the tie-in. But they say, put it on my pull list. But then they forget to tell him to take it off the pull list. So the guy pulls it. Guy doesn't show up for a couple months. Gets a phone call. Hey, so-and-so, your books are here. Been sitting here for a couple months. Just wondering where you been. Can you give us a call back? Can you give us a call back and let us know what to do with them? Because if not, we're going to end up having to put them, you're going to have to come and take care of them. And they do that. They come, they close out the account, and they move on to another shop. Or they close out the account because they don't want the books. And they tell them, take this half out. I only wanted these 2 books, not these 3. You know, like if you were buying DC books and they had a crossover, a Batman crossover, or whatever, and that's the only thing they're doing. They're only buying for that story arc, and then they're canceling the story arc and then they're canceling all their books just to get those books, and then they're not picking the book back up again. So what they're doing is they're getting Batman, boom, boom, boom. Then all of a sudden, Batman has like this crossover with another title or something, or they do this Batman crossover with all the Batman titles that are going on, and Death in the Family or whatever it was that they were doing, and they crossed over. People they cancel all the other books that they're getting, and they just want to get that crossover for the month, you know, for the 6 months, and they cancel all their other books. And then you wonder, then the store is losing money because the store then has ordered 3 months in advance for those books. And that kind of thing really hurts the store. Really hurts your store. So if you're going to get a pull list, buy your books, pick them up. That's all I got to say is pick your books up at a normal time. You know, if you pick them up once a month, that's fine. You pick them up every 2 weeks, that's fine. If you pick them up once a week, that's fine. If you don't pick them up at all and you wait 3 months and you accumulate books and then you end up going through them and taking out the covers you don't like, or you ask them to get this book and then you decide, nah, I don't want this book. It was a mini series that was coming out, and you said, yeah, pick up this mini series or pick up this mini series called Clue, and you end up taking your Clue book out, whatever. But to get back to this haul video here, I get rambling about stuff like that. But here we have the Batman book. Then we have Superman here, issue 264, if I believe that's correct. 10 center. No, 262. Okay. 262. This is right after the first Streaky. This is 262. And everything. Another Supergirl appearance. Not a real big fan of Supergirl, but it's an appearance. So what can you do? Then you have 264. An appearance of, it looks like, I think that was Bizarro, if I'm not mistaken. I can't remember. Yeah, it was Bizarro. A Bizarro appearance there on the book. So Superman becomes a Bizarro. So he becomes that. So there's Lois Lane. Perry White smoking his little doobie. His little stogie there. And Superman breaking the table. Then we have here Superman, another 10 center. What is that? 280. That must be 281. Must be, I forget what he's doing there. The man who saved Superman's life. Then we got 280 something again. 280. This is 280. This is 281. Yeah, 281 and 280 are mixed up. So I'll just show you this one. This is Brainiac. 280 here. 10 center from the 60s. Yeah, late 60s. Yeah, late 60s there. Here's another 10, 12 center. This is another 283. That is Red Kryptonite. Superman. I think that's the first appearance of Red Kryptonite Superman, if I'm not mistaken. So, he doesn't want to find out. This is 319. 319. I think this is still, I would have to say, probably 70s by now. I think 300 was in the 70s, I think, by that time. I think we were in the 70s by that time. This is a great cover here. I love this cover here. Oh, that's a little glary, but yeah, I love that cover there. That's 325. Gigantic Superman, Skyscraper Superman. Love that cover. Then we have here 369. Another 70s Superman book. And 379. What the? 369. Heck if I can read without my glasses, but 369 there. And then we have 375 there. Another Superman book. Love these Superman books. Love these Action Comics. Action Comics is probably the one thing that I do want to try to complete eventually. And I want to get into completing that run of 260 to the end. Then going back and trying to get everything from 236 to 259 to try to get those books. So it's getting a little pricey on some of those books because some of the very good books, you can spend up to $100 on some of the very good books. But, you know, if you're lucky, you find a con. You might find a guy who might be willing to work at it. He might have a deal where, you might get the book on eBay. You might find it on eBay, but a lot of times you're finding it in very poor condition. I don't mind the condition. Some of those books were not in that great a condition, but I don't mind the 3.0s. I don't mind a lot of the 3.0s and higher on there, especially that book, especially the 280 Superman, and that for the amount of and the 262 book, but for the amount of age that the book has, you can always upgrade it one day. You can always finish it out, sell off some stuff, and upgrade it to a 6. From a 2.0, 3.0 to a 6.0, 7.0, all the way up to a very fine, if you really want to do that, And that's one thing, with these older books, is you can do that. You have the opportunity to buy them in low grade. I don't care about my Archie books. I told people this. 3.0 and higher is basically where I want to go, because the modern ones, you don't want to get a modern age book in a 3.0 condition. One that's in the last, I would say, probably the last 15 years. Probably a book from 2000, any book from probably 97 to about 2000. Most of the Archie books ended in 2000. I think the last Archie book was 2015. I would just say anything from 2015 to 2000, in that 15-year range for my Archies. For my Archie books from 2015, 2016, 2015 till now, I would rather have these books. So probably in the last, I'd say, probably the last 10 years, probably in the last 15 years, I would say probably 17 years. You probably don't want to get a book in bad condition if you're buying Superman, Batman, whatever, from like 2000 to now. That's ridiculous in my sense. If you're buying a 3.0 book of that, you should be paying $1. You should be getting them for $1, and they should be in dollar bins and everything. But that's it. That's it for me now. I'm tired of rambling. You're probably tired of hearing me. But you guys take care, and I'll see you on the flip-flop.